I fucking if I could flip that shit every time and just have it all pour on the ground, I would. My leg's literally tapping right now.
Are you talking to say that dating a DJ is like your own self-imposed form of torture? Because it's
literally, man, yeah. Responses to the people when they ask, "Do you take requests?" I say, "As long as it doesn't suck." That puts instantly. You know, I remember her just at one point saying like, "I don't even like music at the 90 BPM," and I was like, "Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Don't say that. Like, you're gonna learn to mix." Before it was very strange, and I tried to work with her more, and of course then I tried to fraternize with her a lot more too. And whatever the hell we want, you could throw the vase instead.
You flannel wearing little rebel, you just want to throw anything, don't you?
Look at 2 buttons down, baby. Yeah.
Well, you make. No, I don't keep that much from that. No. I think we're good though. I think I look okay. Do I look like I'm in focus? Yeah, more or less. Close enough. What's up, man?
What's up, bro?
All right. It only took about an hour to get this started, folks.
We're doing it, baby.
Yeah, for those of you guys who don't understand, podcasting's difficult. Okay, don't assume ever that it's easy, because I got to get really interesting people on here. You know, I got to set up all these beautiful cameras and lights. But today, I get this guy, the flannel wearing, cat loving, awesome DJ,
hey, bro,
better known as HiKevin.
Hi.
What's up, man?
What's up, bro?
How are you?
Chilling, man.
Thanks for making it out here. Yeah.
Very excited to be here, if
dude,
you can't tell.
So we actually been trading like love posts on Instagram for a little while.
Yeah, I was trying to think about that, like when I like figured out who you were, and I realized I watched your YouTube videos for like a really long time before.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That makes you feel good too, because it means like what I'm doing is not in vain.
No.
Thank God.
Absolutely not.
And you've gotten on YouTube as of recently.
Yeah, trying.
So how's that journey been for you? Because YouTube's a whole different animal.
Yeah, it is. Well, just my biggest thing with like joining SCE, which happened, I'd say like the better part of 3 years ago now. Mm-hmm. I think 2021, August 2021. Yeah, so over 3 years. Holy Nikes. But I just like, it felt like you were going to the majors, you know. So you got to start like training and doing all that stuff. So that was like a big leap for me. Was just like focus on this. If you do the YouTube stuff, the other stuff will kind of come naturally, because I'm just editing every day, you know. But yeah, YouTube's super rewarding. You know, and for a while it doesn't seem like it is. And then you start to make these friends that like people just come out of nowhere and start talking to you. You know, like we finally officially met in person at the expo.
Yeah, I was bringing that up. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, but just the number of people that like saw Teddi and knew who she was really, really exciting.
Damn it, Teddi, always stealing the spotlight.
She deserves it way more than I do, man. She's got it.
I was like, I was gonna even ask. I was like, is Teddi coming? I was like, no, but it's Kevin.
I wish she could. I really wish she could.
So actually, for those of the people who don't know who Teddi is, explain who Teddi is and what she does and why it's like important that we're bringing her up, because she's a major part not only in your professional life but your personal life too. Yeah, everything. So, and I think most people would argue that this was a bad idea, was us doing everything together. But she is my fiance. We've been engaged this November. It'll be 3 years. But yeah, I mean, we met working at another company. She came in. She wanted to assist DJs and be a photo booth tech. So I was actually her first true event that she worked, and she was my assistant there. So being like our music mixer, which is, you know, essentially doing the introductions, like mixing music for intros, so that I can MC to my fullest, which is my favorite part. And so after that wedding, like a lot just clicked with her, and she knew what she was doing, even though she had never done it before. It was very strange. And I tried to work with her more, and of course then I tried to fraternize with her a lot more too. And yeah, we went out on like one date. We were keeping it a secret for a while, but then it just kind of blossomed into like the most comfortable relationship I've ever been in. So of course I asked her to marry me, which happened at the DJ Collective in 2021. And I remember seeing that,
yeah, and
awesome.
then just like when I moved to SCE. It's our job to find our own assistants. You know, we're basically like just a leaf on the tree. So we handle all our own stuff, which is awesome. I love owning my own gear. I love handling my own people. I like running the business inside the business. But for her, it was big because she started DJing over COVID, like getting really comfortable, and we just are comfortable around each other all the time. We are that couple that can do that. You know,
that's good, man.
it's crazy. You know, I think it's more crazy for her because you know how we get. We're psychos, dude. Like, we're a little bit of control freaks about our
I always
business.
say that dating a DJ is like your own self-imposed form of torture, because it's
literally, man, yeah.
So, like, especially with what we know and what we do, it's virtually opposite of everybody's everyday routine. So the timelines of which we work is opposite for most personal life.
Yeah.
So, like, we don't get to hang out on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. No. Matter of fact, weekdays are usually the best for us, and that's negative on a relationship because that's the opposite of what your significant other, assuming that they have a full-time job, is going to have, right? Mm-hmm. So it sounds to me that you got very lucky that, you know, you found somebody who not only welcomes the lifestyle, but she's in the lifestyle. Yeah. So, like, what's her take on, you know, working weddings and stuff like that? Like, does she still get excited about it?
Yes.
Yeah, she does.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I've seen it in, like, your videos with her on YouTube, or even just the stuff that you guys have been posting on, like, social media. Yeah. You could tell, like, when somebody's excited to do something on a job, like, it shows in their face when they perform. You can see when she makes a mix, she goes, "Yeah, I did that."
Yes, she does, man. And so, like, we just put something out. I just realized I didn't have any content for the day. We were at a wedding, and I literally just recorded because she does our open doors mix. So, you know, you're moving from cocktail into the reception area. She's playing stuff, and it's keeping the energy high. Like, that's it, just setting this sort of standard for what it's going to be. So, you know, we have video of people walking in, like, coming in like, "Oh, damn, you're just DJing right now?"
Yeah.
You know, and people dancing across the dance floor. Like, it's exciting for me. I'm excited for her. Like, that's really it, because just so much of her is, like, very growth mindset, which I love, in that she loves to work, she likes to grow, she wants to change, she accepts that we're going to be doing this for a long time, and she just wants to lean in, which is great. I would love it if she didn't have to have her normal day job. You know, that would be ideal.
You know what? We'll talk about that too, especially relationship finances in our industry. A lot of people don't really understand that, so I would love to touch on that in a little bit later. Yeah. But you brought up a topic which I believe is of significant importance for couples, is the atmosphere they walk into from cocktail hour into reception. So you just told me something that's a little bit, it's important, but it's also baffling, that she does the opening mix or the welcoming mix.
Yeah.
Right? So for those of you who don't understand that phrase, imagine you're leaving your cocktail hour that's typically in a separate room from where we perform, and now you're walking into the reception. Teddi, his fiance, is responsible for playing the music that people are walking into. So essentially, they're walking into the party, right?
Yeah.
Tell me what you think the importance and significance of that opening mix. Like, what is it? What tone does it set? Expectations, like what you like out of it, and how does, like, Teddi vibe with that? Like, how does she build her set list from there?
So we, and I said it in, like, our reel and everything, so apologies for the repetition of it all. But, like, really, we customize it to a certain extent. Of course, she has, like, her backbone. And this is the same, I think, with mixing just in general. Mm-hmm. You know, you have, like, the stuff that you know and love that's always your safety nets, but you want to get a little experimental. You want to take those risks. So she does that pretty early on. Just, like, taking a couple risks here and there, but mostly just playing, like, very recognizable stuff. I don't even know if I want to describe, like, the benefit of what she does, but maybe just, like, the alternative, which is the lacking benefit of just playing the same mix, just playing, like, down-tempo, quiet stuff, just continuing cocktail hour vibes is not good, because you really want, like, there's a threshold in the door that people are walking through. Agreed. Create that musically, too, you know? So we want that threshold of you're no longer eating scallops and, you know, drinking the signature drink. You are now walking to your seat, which we want you to get the fuck out of. Mm-hmm. Like, get out of your seat as soon as we get ready to rock.
Yeah, find your seat so you know that's the place you're not going to be at for most of the night.
Right. Obviously, you know, we're the master of the ceremony, so we, you know, are tasked with the instruction of so much, which is basically like, you know, find your seat, stay in it, get your order taken. We'll have plenty of time to party here once we get there. But, like, the biggest thing is really just that tonal, like, change, you know, atmospheric change even. So, like, Teddi loves to do it, and she just leans so much in, because we were playing a mix. Like, we were even thinking about just making different mixes for people, but it's like, Teddi, why not give you, like, that time to, you know, mastering something takes 10,000 hours or whatever, right? So that means she's getting at least 25 minutes every single wedding that we do, which just adds to her expertise. That's actually sort of a stolen idea from Spinelli. You know, a buddy who works at SCE and everything, Nick Spinelli, if you're not familiar.
Oh, who doesn't know
Where
Nick
the
Spinelli?
fuck have you been?
Yeah.
Yeah, just sort of like, you know, him wanting to help Santi get those hours in live mixing cocktail hour. You know, that was originally how it started. We wanted Teddi to live mix cocktail hour. Saw that it kind of was just not falling flat, but it just wasn't as valuable as we wanted it to be.
Yeah,
you know?
I would have just offered it. So that's another thing that we've, at a live events, I don't mean to cut you off from that.
No.
The importance of setting the tone early is so unspoken. It's so underrated because I think not enough people understand the value of great music early on that allows people to almost mentally prepare themselves for the celebration. And whether you do it in a way that's so blatantly obvious when they first walk in, or you do it subconsciously. And sometimes the best ways to do it subconsciously are play those throwbacks that you didn't anticipate or you didn't anticipate to hear.
Right.
Right. So I did a podcast with Sam Marcus, BPN, and we were talking about like those sing-along tracks or those tracks you haven't heard in a while, and you're like, damn, I haven't heard David Archuleta in like 15 years. And then, but like you're smiling right now. That's the exact same tone that we're talking about, folks. When you're walking into your cocktail hour, you're essentially walking, when you're walking into your reception, you're walking into the party, right? So you have the cocktail hour, you can set the tone there, or you can set it on the opening mix, which is what we're talking about now.
Yeah.
Is there like a style that you guys typically like to go towards? Like, you know, classic, like some people like to do like that 90s to 115 BPM retro disco or rock or funk, Motown, or pop.
Yeah,
right?
we lean a little more into like the new funk, new disco covers.
Fair enough. I like that.
You know,
Yeah.
so just, and generally I would say Teddi, she's still in her first like sub 5 years of DJing. So her most comfortable space is of course going to be like 120 to 130.
Of course.
You know, of course.
The
That's
floor
where
to-
everybody
The
sits.
floor to the floor,
right?
easy to count. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I remember her just at one point saying like, I don't even like music in the 90 BPM. And I was like, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Don't say that. Like you're going to learn to mix, and all you got to do is whatever. I'm skipping around too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she likes to sit in there. It's a danceable BPM. It's comfortable for people. You know, it's pretty close to like the most comfortable dancing BPM of the 128s. And so yeah, she just kind of rides there. But we're not shoving music down people's throats, but we're also not like playing just, you know, instrumentals in the background. It's not like we're doing pre-ceremony or anything like that, you know? So, and this is where a friction point with me and a lot of couples is there is background music that can still make people tap their foot and roll their shoulder.
True.
You know, or like bob their head. You know, you don't need to just play Frank and Dean at every cocktail hour and during every dinner. You know, if that's absolutely what you want, please do it. But just know there's so many alternatives, and it can basically be anything.
Do you think that they have those mentalities in regards to playing that style of music because it's all they know? Or is it just because like that's actually their taste?
I think a lot of them are adapting their parents' tastes, or maybe they're just young enough that the only weddings they've been to have been like their, you know, aunts or uncles, maybe if they're a little, you know, I don't know. It seems more like an earlier generation that they're looking at their wedding and trying to do it. I feel like these will be the same couples that will have Canon and D as the bridal march, like, you know, truly have like a...
Yeah, they never change it up.
Right,
They
they feel handcuffed to what weddings used to be, and they'll want to do at least a bouquet toss. You know, and I'm not saying anything bad against it. I'm just saying we're in 2024. We can do whatever the hell we want. You could throw the vase instead.
You flannel wearing little rebel, you just want to throw anything, don't you?
Look at 2 buttons down, baby. Yeah.
Well, but you make a good point, and I think it's a conversation that most couples don't have either with each other or their loved ones or everything in the combination of the two. Weddings have become such bubble wrapped events that nobody wants to speak up about their own wedding because they're afraid to either offend somebody or they don't want to deviate from what works.
Right.
And that's like, people have to know that your wedding has to be unique to you and your fiance. Otherwise, you are wasting time, money, and effort to go through the motions to get a subpar engaging reception. And we're talking specifically on the entertainment, but that applies to everything. That applies to every version of your wedding planning. So I love Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I started doing, I don't know if you're familiar with Postmodern Jukebox. Do you know them?
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Okay, so PMJ, I found, I want to say it was 2021, I think. So I was doing a buddy of mine, and this is obviously right after the COVID year. So a buddy of mine from high school was getting married, got engaged in February, called me at the back end of February and said he's getting married that May.
Oh.
Exactly. And I go, dude, you're like really
90 days.
Right, yeah. About 90 days. And he was the one who, very music inclined, loved the idea of putting this all together. And he kind of knew that I was going to be the guy, like right from the get-go.
Okay.
So he goes, listen, I just have like certain things I want to like bring up. You tell me if it's cool or not. I go, shoot. And then first thing he did was like, yo, I was thinking about doing this for cocktail hour. And he showed me PMJ style music. And for those of you who don't know, Postmodern Jukebox, I'm going to give you guys like a little snippet. Modern. Here we go. So what they actually do is they're cover bands that take like everyday top hits and make them into retro styled songs. So they'll take like, let me see here. Let's say Creep, okay? Creep from TLC. And this is what they make out of it.
When you were here before, couldn't look you in the eye.
Right?
You're just like an angel.
No, it's cool. No, it's cool.
Skin makes me
So
cry.
so like you could even play this like for pre-ceremony too, you know?
Yeah.
Like stem out the vocals.
Yeah, I mean, for cocktail hour we were doing
But for
this.
cocktail hour would be amazing.
Because when people were like getting their little, hot dogs and wieners, so they were like, wait a minute, is that TLC?
Like, why do I know these lyrics, but I don't know these tunes? Like, but I know it all.
Yeah, it's
so good.
But they do like Britney Spears, they do Post Malone, they do Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
There's all the small things covered. It's like a sad cover. I'm like, yeah, this is like, it's crazy. So when I found this, I remember calling him after listening to Spotify playlists. I was like, dude, where did you find these people? This is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So this is one of the vibes I'm talking about. You could actually do this as opposed to just doing that Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin stuff, which essentially is the same thing.
Same thing.
It's the same thing.
It's the sound they're looking for.
Exactly.
You know? But
Exactly.
then you're also roping in like teenagers that may, have some sort of like affiliation with any of those songs.
Absolutely.
That'd be
Right.
amazing. Okay.
Right. And that's where I'm like, don't be afraid to push the boundaries.
Right.
If you want traditional, it's okay to be traditional, but why not spice it up a little bit? Like, why not use your personality and use that personality to create the atmosphere you want for your wedding, if that makes sense.
It does.
So I love talking about that, and I think it's such a big deal because if Teddi is going to be the one bringing people in, starting from cocktail hour, it's a big deal. Having people mix in, one of the actual things I hate, and I love him. He knows who I'm talking about. He's an event planner that we work with all the time. He believes that when people walk into a room, it has to be almost somber-esque to allow the people to kind of like get affiliated with the atmosphere of the room. Now, mind you, he's talking about rooms that are having tens of thousands of dollars being put into decorating them. We're talking about like these outrageous, incredibly beautiful centerpieces, candelabras everywhere. The atmosphere, believe it or not, they actually do scented rooms.
Yeah.
He's done scented rooms before.
Huge.
Big hack, by the way. If you don't know that, look that up. But he does all these things. So he doesn't want people coming into necessarily a party. He wants people coming into, like when you first walk into Disney World and you hear the like you hear that that fanfare music. He wants that when walking into the room. What are your thoughts on that? Like just imagine, paint that picture, if you will. How would you?
So I love the Disney reference because that's almost making me think a completely different way. But also I just think like a lot of younger couples don't have that budget to spend $7,000 on centerpieces alone. You know, sometimes there's not, like some people are literally just looking, the people that we do this for, I should say, like we don't do this for every single person. That's why we customize it to a certain extent, right? But we do want people to have that pep in their step. That's all I'm looking for. If it takes less than that to get that pep in the step from the people, that's great. If they are very, very much like, so I ask an important question, I think, is like, what's the level of interaction you want from me on your wedding day on a scale from 1 to 10? I would say the average is probably like a 7. But I've had people give me 2s and 3s, you know. So for something like that, I feel like that tells a lot. That might mean that maybe when we do something like this opening doors mix, that maybe we'll pull it back a little bit, you know. That's an interesting point, though.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I like the smell thing, though. That's a completely
that's another hack, man. Like we actually so he was notoriously known for actually having like I don't know the actual technology, but there's something that. There are vendors that actually create a scented environment, and there's a machine that they could use on 2 sides of the room, almost like a haze machine.
Like a diffuser.
Almost,
like
yeah.
You know.
But what they do is they use scented aroma to fill the room. So if you have let's say you're trying to do a theme where it's like a Roman ensemble, which we've done stuff like that. Like that's how crazy some of our clients are, that they have like this incredible atmosphere for a theme. He'll create this musky oakwood aroma, and the room is like teals of red and gold and white and like beige. Like there's this amazing atmosphere. So when I hear things like that, I can understand his point of view.
Yeah.
But then what happens when they walk into the room, and then they become so affiliated with just that when I do have to pick up the music, it's almost, to me, it feels out of place.
Yeah.
Now I kind of feel like I'm forcing it on you versus them walking into the atmosphere for them to party. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like I'm on the side where I want people walking into like, that's a dope song. I'm singing. I'm already dancing. I want people with their drink in their hand, like turning around to their friend, dancing backwards.
Exactly,
you know what I'm saying?
Dude. Exactly that.
Like that is like catnip, and he knows all about catnip. Okay, but that's like catnip to DJs. When all of a sudden you got like people like vibing with each other when they first walk in, you're doing something right.
Yes,
you're doing something right.
Yes.
Another topic I wanted to talk about: music requests. How do you do with that? Because I know those are those shirts the DJs wear, like no requests or like a finger to request list. Like, how do you handle requests with Teddi?
So generally Teddy's probably busy. Number one, I like to build rapport with the people on the day of anyway. And so actually I specifically am going to try and lean into this a little bit. I have a funny reel where a girl makes a request. She looks down at her watch, and then I'm like, wait a second, did you just do that to me? Yeah. Did you just like that's, to me, that's rude. I think it's, as long as both sides are fair, then it's fine. So like say somebody comes up, and it happened this past weekend. They requested something that I had already played. It was September by Earth, Wind and Fire. Go figure. And I was like, hey, I already played that. And she's like, you did? And I was like, yeah. And I went into PYT by Michael Jackson, and then I went into that CeeLo Green song. What the hell is it called? Forget You. Yeah, Forget You. You know, and I was just I think that's a good way to answer it, and just be like, yeah, no shit, I already played it. Yeah. That's the bad way to answer it.
Weren't you paying attention?
Yeah, well, you weren't here. Maybe she wasn't in the room.
Maybe you should stop looking at your watch.
You know.
Okay.
But
Miss.
So then the girl came back and she requested Dancing Queen by ABBA, and I was like, done. Easy. Yeah. And then she came back again and requested Africa by Toto. And I was like, probably not happening. You know? Not for this crowd. No, just not, simply just not for this crowd.
Well, I wasn't there.
No. Yeah. And because they were 24 and 25.
They were young.
They were young.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's very specifically like, no cliche stuff. So, and I realize ABBA kind of is cliche. But, you know, every once in a while, you got to keep the aunts and uncles out there. That's all. That's all it is.
Listen, Dancing Queen is still a banger.
Yeah. But so,
you hear it all the time, but it's still a banger.
It's still a banger. Beyond like that example, I love, somebody comes up and people more than ever have been asking, do you take requests?
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
What's happening?
We as the DJ industry have voiced our distaste for random requests, folks. So if I may, I'm going to just jump in on that. Requests to me are welcomed. What we don't take kindly to is when you shove it down our throat that it needs to be done now. That's where you're going to get a lot of pushback from DJs. Me specifically. Like, I will take requests. And
you got to play this.
Bro,
I don't got to play anything.
If I saw...
the face, Rob,
could you imagine any other work environment where your request to do something was on a phone, and from across the room you go like this and say, "Hey, send the report in." I'm pretty sure somebody would probably fight you in the parking lot.
Yeah, I'd throw my stapler at you.
Bro,
you
it's
know?
like, but going back to my initial point, you want to make sure that it's an appropriate request. Now, if you give me a request where it's a high energy song that's currently playing and the song you're requesting is like half the tempo, okay? Now, I'm not asking you to be a DJ. I'm not. But you know when it's like a lot slower, folks. Like, okay, it's got to be, and it's also got to be relevant. It's got to be relevant to like what's appropriate at that time.
Right.
If we're doing a throwback set because maybe it's early in the night and you want to get the older guests involved, I'm not playing Kodak Black. Sorry, not doing it right there. Right?
Tunnel vision is not appropriate right now. I'm sorry. Yeah.
But it's like, I'll play Kodak Black, what I call Power Hour, like the last 45 minutes of the event, where now I know the older people are usually tired or ready to go home. They're not going to want to dance because they're just burnt out.
Yeah.
And then you guys are drunk. You want to get nuts. Dude, I got you. Cool. Let's go. Let's play it.
Yeah.
Timing is everything. And I've preached this already so many times in the podcast. The timing is everything. But I've seen, like, the reason why I bring up requests is because I see on your 360 cam, that little cute device you got. Yeah, it's so cute.
I love it.
But cool thing about the 360 cam is that you can get to capture those moments when people ask for requests. And I see it's usually you handling it. So Teddy is usually like doing like photo or video for you, yeah?
Yeah. I will 100% credit Twitch and being on there, on that platform, DJing. Like, you have to run 7 different things. So honestly, going back into weddings, I was like, man, I'm like extra bored now because I'm used to running the video for it, you know, like on an iPad, reading the comments, answering the comments, all while DJing. Yeah, it's to me, now it was like putting ankle weights on. Yeah, you know, now I'm light as a feather when it comes to taking the requests, and also just like if Teddy takes it, it's welcome. If I'm like super busy, but you know, a lot of times I just be like, Teddy, I got it. Don't worry about it. You know, like let me talk to him because it's not her responsibility to voice the no either. Like that's my job. Okay, 100%. And
you basically made that distinction. Like you're like, listen. Take the request, say yes, and I'll determine if it's good to hear or not, yeah? Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, like, she'll jump in sometimes, and she's been really good at hearing what I've said and spinning it in her own verbiage to make it crystal clear to them. One of my favorite responses to the people when they ask, do you take requests? I say, as long as it doesn't suck. That puts instantly, like, oh, shoot, does this suck?
I've done... I had to stop doing it because I had something similar to that. Yeah. And unfortunately, with my personality, people don't get it sometimes.
Right, the sarcasm's a little missed.
So I'm like, somebody would be like, do you take requests? I'd be like, just the good ones. And like, they're like, so is that a yes? And I'm like,
right, yeah.
Like,
people don't take well to ambiguity. No.
I'm like, yeah. But it's the same. Folks, like DJs aren't opposed to taking requests. I promise you majority of them aren't. It's just... Number one, it's got to be relevant. And number two, you can't shove it down our throats. Yeah. We're doing our job. So if you're nice about it, if you're polite about it, if it makes sense, then yeah, we're going to play your request. We're going to play your request. Even if it's out of right field, we'll play it. It might not be right away, though.
Right.
Like, Toto probably could have worked. You know when Toto probably could have worked on that job? Maybe to sit them down for dinner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
tail ends
because
type of thing.
The ones who wanted it could have stayed up for a minute. And then, like,
I'd actually love that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's very good. And I have like a love-hate relationship with like a borderline dancey song like that, you know, at that time, because then the maitre d' comes back up to you and they're like, I told you to sit him down. I'm like, bro, I'm playing Toto.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or like, you even if you just play like a, you know, like a Moombaton song to just like, it just encourage them to sit down. But now people love that so much. They love that little groove.
Afrobeats now are like, it's the
white women love to just do this out there, man. I
call that the body shake, where they think they have rhythm, but it's not rhythm. It's like a twitch. You know what I mean? It's a shoulder twitch.
Yeah.
It's so real. And it's like, listen, white women, we love you.
We do.
We love you on the dance floor. I don't care if you got rhythm. Be on there. Do your thing,
Stay
girl.
There.
Do your thing, girl. Just understand. It's a little weird sometimes.
It is.
It's a little weird. So another thing I also love about your YouTube is when you do your gig logs, you kind of go through your prep process. So I love when you bring the cats on. You talk about, got to feed him first, and then we're going to go,
Love my boys.
Right. And then you're showing already packed up, still got 3 hours. We're going to leave in about an hour. Tell me about your routine typically for a wedding. Like, give people the insight of what a wedding DJ does before actually getting there. Because I think that's lost to many people, or they don't even know the longevity of it. So tell me your process, like how you approach it and your routines.
Cool. So I'll just use this week as an example. It's probably perfect. So we have 2 this weekend. We have Saturday and Sunday. One's back in Central PA, and then one's in Jersey. So we're a little all over the place. So the process has already started for this weekend. Yesterday was looking at everything just from like a really like bird's eye view, just to make sure. I know you guys do like your finals meetings. You sit down and talk through the timeline. Generally, the couple gets sent home with like a little bit of homework. So Monday is to make sure that I have planned to remind them that their homework is due on Wednesday before the wedding.
Cool.
Because Wednesdays are wedding Wednesdays. Teddi and I sit down on the couch. We go through the whole timeline. We talk about it all because she's primarily my assistant. And we just scope it all out and make sure that nothing is crazy or jarring. And I like to include her on it because third-party perspective, she doesn't know as much inside and out, so she can ask the questions then. So then we get everything scoped out on Wednesday, make sure everything is buttoned up by Thursday, because then generally our weddings begin on Friday. But obviously with that extra day, it's great to have like that extra time. So if we don't have a Friday, then generally I'm playing with the music, either just on my laptop or actually like mixing it a little bit just to get some ideas, And again, I didn't always do this because I wasn't always a full-time DJ. But of course, now that we are, I got to lean in more, But yeah, so the process starts so freaking early in the week.
Now you brought up Wednesday. So what do you need by them? Because that's approximately 2 to 3 days prior to a wedding, assuming that it's a Friday or Saturday, right?
Yep.
So what freedoms do they have up until Wednesday? Like what information do they have up until then to give you? Music requests, formalities?
Yeah, so they could have totally been done at that point, or they could have been absolutely not done at that point. Just this past weekend, the couple was a little, not more distracted, but they were coming in from California, to like have their wedding back here with family.
Less. We love California. Let's be honest. You guys are a little lackadaisical.
Little lax. It's fine, man.
Smoke a little weed, hang out a bit. We get it.
I do not oppose. HiKevin.
HiKevin.
It's just HI, but so a little more lackadaisical, a little more relaxed about the whole thing. I appreciate that. It's your time. It's your wedding. Be relaxed about it. Frankly, that sets a tone for the day of the wedding.
Day of, they're not bridezillas. They're not in a rush. They kind of feel like they're
they're more just flying by the seat of their pants a little bit.
Yeah.
But this is our job, so we got to get the information we need to make sure that we are 100%.
Yeah.
And to me, that all has to be in by Wednesday at 6 p.m.
So I'm going to tell you my say on that.
Yeah.
I applaud you for having a whole day where you go through everything, because I do that pretty much the same. My routine is more focused on like, okay, Mondays are my recovery day.
Yeah.
So Monday's like, okay, all I'm going to do is just cut up music, download new music crate organization, and maybe just review the upcoming week. I don't touch anything. It's just me to decompress. That's how I keep my music organized, because that to me is like knitting. Okay, it's like music organization is my knitting. But the rest of the week, I really don't have to worry too much about it unless we have a personalized package, which is like you walked into on a recording that we were doing here. That's one of the things I have to worry about.
Right.
But I don't like, personally, this doesn't work for me, where like giving them that much freedom until that Wednesday gives me anxiety, because I feel like I have to now rush the information. And if they miss something, I don't want to call them the day before or whatever. So what I do is 2 weeks prior, we do a timeline overview. The timeline gets sent over to the venue so that we understand what they need from us. And if there's any changes, we have time to correct that. And also, I require them to have all the major information done before that timeline. So I need to know who you're dancing with, who's giving the speeches, everything, so on and so forth. That's 2 weeks prior. Now, if there are changes, they have until Wednesday before to add music requests. Folks, not formalities. requests.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I do this is because if they do have to make a change, it's typically a very small change that I could fix the day of the wedding if I have to. But I don't like, because you know how it is. It can take 2 hours to prep for a wedding, depending on what, between music requests, formality placements, speech prep, timeline organization, like all that stuff can actually take hours to prep.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, if I have 3 events that weekend and I have to do that all on Wednesday, I might implode. Like, but if that's like, and please understand, like, I'm just saying, like, God bless you if you could do it. I can't. I'm too, I don't even know OCD is the right word. Anal, maybe? That's
no,
crazy.
I think you're doing it way more as like a time management thing.
Yeah.
Whereas like, I won't lie. My availability of time is probably like way more than yours because you're doing all this too, you know? And I'm doing YouTube, I'm doing social media and all that stuff too, of course.
So you are busy.
No, yeah. I mean, I'm as busy as I want to be right now, but that's, and you're just 10 times busier, you know? So that makes a lot of sense. You're scaling based on your time availability. So you're really like blocking your stuff intentionally. Yeah. And I just have a little more time availability and I like to sit down and do it all with Teddi anyway. Sometimes it won't always happen on Wednesday. You know, it might be Thursday or something like that. I might casually mention to Teddi, like, hey, Friday we got to leave by, 12:30 because it's a little bit further away, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, really just, it is truly whatever works for you. Yeah. But I do think the one thing that we both share is that we do have time to be able to get back to them and not stress them out at their rehearsal dinner.
Right,
that's
exactly.
the biggest thing.
I don't want them on that Thursday or Friday to get a phone call from me asking a question about said wedding.
Because it makes you look like an amateur.
That, and also it creates a very strenuous time because they don't need to answer that right away. Personally.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Have you done after parties? Have you seen an increase in after parties lately?
Weird fluctuation of them. So the way that at SCE we really like to work is I wouldn't want to go and do the after party because I just did the main party and that's just more of me. Why didn't we just stay in the same room?
Exactly.
So we like to bring in other people because generally it's a completely separate setup. And then you get a different style too. Yeah. I actually was just speaking with a couple that they were planning their after party at a venue that recently it just is shutting down. So they can't have it there anymore. And they're like, what do we do? Like, we had all this planned out. And I was like, listen, not for nothing. After parties are super fun for the right groups.
At that point, they're just drinking anyway.
Yeah, at that point, they're just drinking. Yeah. It's not a huge dance party. We feel a little more of like a bar DJ than like a club DJ.
Right, yeah.
I love to do it. I like to, I don't know if you share in this, but sometimes it's really nice to be just like the cocktail DJ. Yeah. You get a little creative. You play stuff out a little bit different. You play stuff you don't normally play, But, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I definitely didn't answer your question.
No, you did. No, you're seeing a fluctuation of them.
Yeah.
And you kind of brought into the evolution of the question, which is, how we handle the after parties. We also do a lot of hybrid stuff. I know SE does tons of this as well. But when we do hybrids, people tend to want after parties, I'm noticing, specifically with bands.
Oh, yes.
They want an after party. Mm-hmm. And if I'd be so bold, is it because, I can't help but wonder, is it because when you have a wedding band, you're anticipating the band to be shit? I just call, okay.
It's a question. It's a question.
Right.
That's a question.
So let me backtrack this. I think the wedding industry has put a black eye on entertainment in totality.
Yes.
Okay? Because it's labeled as very cheesy or retro, right? And in today's world, that's not the case. I've worked with bands that are outrageous. And I'm talking you're talking about top of the line can actually tell off a DJ because they're that much better. But I think that a lot of couples, especially if they're bar couples or nightclub couples, think that the band is going to not be the vibe.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So the after party is their way of saying, oh, we get what we want for another hour or 2 hours. Here's my experience with most after parties. People are tired. They're either drunk or just want to get drunk. So the after party is not really a turn-up opportunity. It's more of a decompress opportunity. it's a munchies opportunity.
Yes,
it's
definitely a munchies opportunity.
It's like, yo, let's go get that bacon, egg, and cheese wrap that they put in the front, and like let's just chow down and grab like another, Tito's and Club or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, as a DJ, I'm like sitting there like, I'm deflated.
Yeah.
I guess it could be cool. Like you bring up the cocktail DJ thing. That could be cool.
It could, yeah, I mean, again, it totally depends on what they're looking for at that moment. I was born and raised in Connecticut, so we randomly got a request for after party in Connecticut. They were actually looking for Jeff Scott Gould. I was available. So they were like, Kevin is great. I designed my DJing style to be able to mimic like the different styles that we have in SCE.
Yeah.
Nick Spinelli being like my main compass, I guess you could call it. But JSG just being someone that I've always looked up to, down to, I don't know if I've ever told him this, but I copied his haircut at one point. Like right when I first started DJing, because I was just like, I'm high energy. This guy's high energy. I love his vibe. I just love.
Yeah.
Sorry, JSG. I'm about to blush.
No, Jeff's got awesome personality.
He does, man.
And he's so revered. He's so well revered. It's so funny because when I got to talk to him, really only for the first time, I think I got to meet him twice.
Yeah.
And the humility the man has is just baffling to me because he's always smiles. He's like, I suck at these networking events. I'm like, are you messing with me?
You're
or
kidding.
like,
yeah.
Because like everybody loves you, dude. Like, what's the problem? So yeah, bless him, man. He's really
great.
cool people. He's a good
great.
role model. I'm
but,
sorry.
No, that's okay. I love to talk about him too. But so that was number one. That was like a scary thing for me because now I'm being held up against somebody. She literally said, "Can you get the playlist that he played from my friend's wedding, and can you just do exactly what he did?" So I go in. This is me playing from 11 to 1 after a band. Just logistically, it was tough because she wanted us to start right away. Like at 11:01, when the band ended at 11, she wanted me on stage. That was impossible because the band was cleaning up. It took us.
Oh, it was in the same room.
Same room.
Oh,
same room. Very difficult to navigate this whole thing. So it's 11:03, and again, nothing against her, but she's like, "Why aren't you set up and playing music yet?" And I'm like, "I can't. I physically cannot.
Yeah.
Their subs are where I need to be."
When did you find out about the room switch? Was that ahead of time?
So we had spoke on the phone, and she was like, "I would really love you on stage." And I was like, "I just want to let you know there's going to be logistic issues. It's probably not going to happen. I will do my absolute best." Ooh. We had everything set up in the lobby. We carried my bun booth in.
Yeah.
We had the speakers set up. Teddy rolled one in. I rolled the other one in, and we were up and running in under 4 minutes. But it was 11:07 at that point, and she was genuinely worried that because the band didn't communicate very well, that something was continuing. You hear, "Hey, the shuttle, DJ coming."
Oh, no.
So it was just tough. We had an amazing time. There was a little bit of a learning curve just from my vision in my head of what she wanted versus what actually the people wanted, which isn't uncommon.
Yeah.
There's always a little bit of a disconnect.
Less.
Yeah. But, it was, I think for them, it was the perfect transition, from having that very, not basic, but expected wedding tone with a band.
Yeah.
Band people are band people. I'm not going to try and change your mind. That's fine. My cousin, one of my favorite cousins, Keith, he had a band at his wedding. I didn't take any offense to that. My other cousin had another DJ because he wanted me to attend. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. It's not a competition. It's a taste thing for sure.
Yeah, well, going back to the after party thing and in just that scenario kind of just gave me like creepy crawlies. Only because maybe it's with us, we're a company that really imposes our will when necessary.
Yeah.
Because if I found out that I had to be on top of there, I would have said absolutely not. I was like, you're better off taking it elsewhere and then having the after party there, doing it at the hotel, doing whatever else, or talk about putting you in a cocktail room, in the cocktail area room, and make sure that was doable because people could walk into the party, and I would have made that incredibly, incredibly well known. Kudos to you for being able to deal with it because I would have been miserable.
So there's actually an extra part to the story where we did set up my Everse 8 just in the corner, so that while we were transitioning, there was something playing.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I put like 5 songs on a list. It included things like, I think $1 Million Baby was on there because I just didn't want to have to play that later. I love this song, but it feels like such a deflate to me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe it has staying power. That has to be seen.
Why.
Yeah, the staying power has to be seen. I'll eat my words in 6 months. But
we'll find out.
Yeah, we will. But so like just to compensate, to be like, listen, I am trying everything in my power to make sure that this transition happens as smoothly as possible,
Yeah.
and I want to show that to the point that we left the E-verse behind.
Oh.
And shouts to Rachel Lynch, bro. She drove it to the expo. She went and picked it up from the venue, drove it to the expo, and we transitioned it there.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Amazing.
God
I mean, it
bless
was
you, Rachel.
4 days, between.
She's a saint, dude.
She was an absolute saint. I got on DJ Help Desk, reached out, like anybody in Connecticut going to the expo. Rachel was the first person to say something.
Yeah.
And she got her flowers from that group 1,000 times
100%.
over.
Well, she's such a sweetheart. She's also, what she's done for the DJ community is actually, she's again one of the pioneers of help tutorials.
Yes.
And call it what it is. Her being a woman, is very rare in our industry. I always say that women can make a lot more money than men in this business.
Way more.
If they just dedicate themselves. But she has been nothing but a sincere, genuine guide for not just new DJs, but other professional DJs.
Yeah.
And kudos to her. Sincerely, I would love to have her on the podcast. Actually.
She would be a
It's a drive, Rachel.
She'd be a pistol on here.
It would be awesome.
Yeah. You get a large pie here. She'll come flying. She loves that pizza.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, listen, I'm from Staten Island. We got some pretty good pizza too.
I got good pies.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
We have some good pizza, man.
Yeah.
Before SCE, 'cause this is one thing I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Before SCE, what were you doing as a DJ? Like, where were you? Like, what were you doing?
So we were in Central Pennsylvania. We worked for another company, Clock Entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that should be included in the pod. I never know how to navigate this part of it. I learned a lot from there. I was doing weddings on my own. I was actually selling cars at the time. I got one Saturday a month off, which more often than not was filled with a wedding. So I was working every day of the week.
Yeah.
In Pennsylvania, luckily, it's illegal to sell cars on a Sunday, so we at least got that day.
Okay.
But yeah, so I was, at one point, a coworker threatened my life because he was on vacation and I sold a car to one of his previous customers. He was like, "You ever do that again, I will kill you." I was like, "Cool, give me a second." I walked into my manager's office and I was like, "Hey, that guy sitting out there just threatened my life. I want you to know that's why I'm quitting right now." And I drove home and I called Spinelli and I was like, "Bro, can you call anybody in the area that you know and see if I can start working weddings like this weekend?" Right. And that's basically exactly what happened. I had 2 or 3 under my belt by myself, but I was charging $500, maxing out at $800. Had all my own gear and everything, and I just wanted to work. So lean in to Clock Entertainment, and I'm doing production stuff for them during the week, working 8 days a week doing that stuff, eventually working in the office doing sales. And then COVID hits and everything kind of just, womps. The Expo 2021. Jenna and I are both awake at 3:43 in the morning, getting chicken fingers, right at the top of the stairs at the Hard Rock. And he literally says the words, "When are you moving to Jersey?" And my exact response was, if you had asked me yesterday, I would have moved the day before that. Yeah. Like I was so ready. And I texted Teddi and I was like, "We're moving to Jersey." So we didn't make it that far yet, but we are.
But you moved a little bit.
Yeah, but our goal is
closer to the Philly area.
Yeah,
South Jersey.
yeah. So we're just probably 12 miles outside of Philly, as the crow flies, and yeah, we just bop around.
You guys also service a lot of Philly.
Yep.
So from what I understand, SCE, they cater all over New Jersey, but a lot of their work is dominated from like where we are now south, because I think like a lot of you guys reside in that area, because I know Nick's down south.
Yep.
You're down south.
Yep.
I think Tony's down south.
I honestly don't know where Tony lives. But yes, we're pretty evenly split across, everything. We do have a guy like up here. That's who I just went and picked up a CO2 cannon from Bobby LaFauci. So he's only like 25, 30 minutes from here.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, we all go everywhere. Like, I'm right outside of Philly, but I'm not only servicing there. The point of me being there is to be able to help couples there without charging a travel fee. Because a lot of guys don't want to jump the bridge, you know, which is cool. That means that I'm there to do all that stuff. If they need an assistant in the area and their normal guy doesn't want to drive from Jersey because, you know, it doesn't make sense to them and I'm available, that's great, you know? So, yeah, it's a strategic move, I think, on so many levels. But, you know, I wanted to be here. I want to help this team. It's helped me feel like I'm growing so much, too. You know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Couple more questions and before we get into an awesome segment. What's one of your biggest pet peeves or the biggest pet peeve at weddings? Because everybody's got them. Everyone's got them. It's okay. This is a safe space.
Yeah.
Tell me.
What the fuck did they... Viennese?
Viennese hour?
The Viennese table. I fucking... If I could flip that shit every time and just have it all pour on the ground, I would. My leg's literally tapping right now.
Are you talking about like the Viennese hour in a different room, or when they bring it into the room?
I don't care if they bring it into the room. I don't dislike coffee stations. I don't dislike cake or dessert. What I dislike is the, like, hey, everybody's not going to it. Can you announce it again? No. Yeah. If they're hungry, they'll find food. Right. Like, and it's nothing against the maitre d' that has to deliver that message. I get it. We all have our job, our lane. Yeah. But can I just focus on my lane and you focus on yours? You know, like, that's just, we have our time, and you keep trying to take it away from me every 27 minutes. And like, I can't build I can't build that staying power.
You can't get momentum.
I can't get in a rhythm for them. They can't get in a rhythm. You know, like, I'm faster to get in a rhythm. I think sometimes it takes people, you know, 20 to 25 minutes to really flow, unless they are just ready to dance, you know?
If you get that good crowd, you get lucky with that, but you're right. You need them. You need to get momentum in them to be prepared, like, to physically do something. Yeah. And
that's
a good one.
They can only gain momentum so many times is my thing. So, like, I love the first dance set once you've taken orders. I don't like we need to drop salads. Can you dance it for 7 minutes? That one annoys me too. You know, so if you're talking like 3 dance sets, the third one's going to have a hard start, man. You can't just play a slow song to trick people to get out there. You can't do that 3 times. No. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
I'll tell you mine.
Yeah, tell me.
Bars that are outside the room.
Oh, yeah.
And I probably hijacked this from talking about this with Aldo, so sorry, Al. But we have done several locations where the bar is located outside of the reception room. People, don't put your bar outside of the reception room. That's a really bad idea. Let me explain why. Number one, people like to drink. Okay. And when people like to drink, they're going to go to the place to get a drink. What happens when you go outside of a reception? Things get missed. Energy gets depleted. Why? If I'm over here and the bar's over there, okay, they're going to start hanging out over there. Why? Because they're going to grab another drink. It becomes tiresome that some guys would be like, no, I'm just going to, like, I'm almost done my drink. Hold on, I'm going to get another one. Just grab another one and go. Dude, dance sets dwindle because people are dancing, and then what happens? They want to have a drink. They want to, like, kind of get the juices flowing again. Then they leave the dance floor, and then what happens? They engage in conversations at the bar. If the bar is closer to the DJ booth and a song plays, at least they can run back and say, this is my jam, this is my, you know. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, dude. But then when it's outside of the bar, it just completely, it impedes so much on the energy that's cast by the entertainment. And it's my biggest pet peeve. So, folks, when you're getting married, I guess a question you can ask is, where do we put the bars? Now, I don't care if you sound like an alcoholic when you ask that question. It's a good question.
It's a good question.
It is a very good question.
It might not be for the couple either. Yeah. It might be like, we don't drink, but our family is they're fish.
Yeah. Especially if you got a rowdy young crowd that loves to drink beer or tequila. Yeah. Damn, bro. You need to know where they're being serviced. Yeah. And don't, if they try to pitch you, we bring drinks to the table. Yeah, they do. But when they're not at the table, they can't get the drink. Yeah. So that's the problem. This ain't a casino. No. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
So please, for the love of God, don't Don't leave your bar outside the reception
There
room.
is so much
Please.
strategy involved in everything. And,
There is.
Like even, like I think that most DJs, if you've done a bar or a club or anything like that, your goal is to make that establishment money. So you need to dip in order to not force people, but give people the opportunity to go to the bar, which I've sort of adapted a little bit to the weddings, but at the same time, it's kind of like, if you like, you just might not, you might never get them back. Not everybody comes to a wedding with the intent to dance,
That's true. That is true.
Some people come with the intent to drink, and that's it.
Listen, there are stereotypes I could call out right now that is 100% true. But at the end of the day, we have a responsibility to create an atmosphere that the bride and groom are going to want. If you impede on that ability to do that, or if you get in the way of us being able to do that, and we're out of that control, there's only so much we could do. And there are venues that I will say this, some venues don't have a choice. Like, it's the way they were designed. Nobody thought of it. Okay. I can't do anything about that. And I'm not going to tell you not to get married there because the bar's outside. I'm not saying that. But if you have a moving bar and they have to move that bar outside because you have too many tables, you got a problem. You got a big problem. And please don't underestimate it because it will leave a lasting impression on people.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
I like these hot topic questions, by the way.
dude, it's like, I don't want to just have DJs talk about DJ stuff that doesn't help everybody else. I love our industry. Too many people do that. They do. They just, like, as DJs, we have the knowledge, and it's good to embrace that knowledge between one another.
Yeah.
But if you want to be a full-time DJ or you want to cater to, like, a long-term career, you got to help the people who are buying from you.
Right.
Right? So if I'm a bride or I'm a groom and I'm watching this podcast, I want them to give me as much information as possible that I could use while planning my wedding. Mm-hmm. Especially if I have a vision of my wedding that I want executed. Too many DJs, and not just DJs, too many vendors in totality in the wedding industry don't think like this.
Yeah.
And I think that's another reason why there are a lot of, I'm going to call what it is, subpar weddings out there. I really believe that. Because I also do believe that you could have an epic wedding for under $20,000, but
we're doing it.
Listen,
we're going to crush ours.
You can.
It's the best.
I also think that there are bigger and better things that you could do for more money. And that just, again, it's like, look, I always say it like this, right? A wedding's like a very good steak. I'm just saying how it is.
I'm already in on this. Let's go.
You could buy a chuck steak, right? And make a awesome steak sandwich with fries and be incredibly happy with it. Won't cost you more than $15. Or you could buy a ribeye and you can make that ribeye the same way you make the chuck. And if you're a great cook, right, the steak's going to taste amazing. But when you have quality ingredients that go into that recipe, you get overall a better experience. And that's what it is. If you're investing more in the quality ingredient, you're going to typically get a better result, right?
Yeah.
So give me a ribeye. I use ribeye because I love ribeye. You give me a tomahawk, I'm just as happy. But a ribeye could be, I don't know, what is ribeye now? $22 a pound, something like that? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But then you got a chuck that's, $8 a pound. Doesn't mean chuck is technically a worse steak. Different ways you could cook it, different things you could do with it. There's a lot of different ways you could do it. If it fits your budget, take it. You can have a fantastic wedding. But you need to know where you're putting your money towards.
Fair.
Clip that shit. Let's go.
Drop that mic.
So actually one of the things I do at this podcast is I like to do like little snippets of like fun interactive stuff that we could do. Yeah. I told you one of the things I wanted to do with you is custom entrance songs, like introduction songs for couples. Because again, if you're doing the traditional grand entrance for a bride and groom, I think that that's also a really big like staple of their wedding. So I always like giving ideas or concepts or songs, and I figured me and you just kind of chop it up. And
I love to do this.
So I always like to do like housey stuff.
Same.
Yeah, I like the housey stuff because especially if it's groovy stuff. I'm going to start with one.
Yeah.
That it's not older, I guess, but Love Can Do. Here we go. This is David Guetta and Becky Hill.
Okay.
Crazy What Love Can Do. You know the track?
I was reading it. I was like, I'm going to have to hear it before I think I even recognize it.
So I always say that if you're going to do a bride and groom entrance, it's got to be somewhat like related to a love message.
Okay.
Right? So Crazy What Love Could Do, clearly great freaking message, but the song itself is actually a banger.
Crazy what love can do. Crazy what love can do. Can someone tell me what is happening to me?
So like, yeah.
You're my
Well, my
oxygen.
goosebumps speak so much, and I really hope that the camera can see my hair standing up on end, because I'm just imagining emceeing right now. I love that.
Welcome in the new Mr. and Mrs. Doors open. Beat drop.
Oh my God, that little delay for the doors to like slowly creep open, and then they walk. Oh, baby. Love that.
Ain't it crazy what love can do? Crazy what love can do. Round me up in diamonds. Cover me.
Such a good song, dude. I love that freaking track. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Do you have one that you typically like to?
A super popular one has been These Words by Natasha Bedingfield.
I think it has.
And, oh God, what's his name?
These words. Is it Andrew Marks?
These Words
are mine. Yeah. Louis. I have Louis Tom. No, this is I have this one by it's Andrew Marks. Don't Want to Wait at It. But
Okay.
I don't know if this is the one you're thinking of. But that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a great one. And so we actually did the entire intro to that song. This was actually just this past weekend again. Saturday, we announced parents from the tables. Pretty easy. I like doing that too, because it's a little less like throwing them into the kids' world.
Right.
You know, so then start playing These Words. The whole wedding party comes in. The ladies come in as one. The guys come in as one. And then we just keep it going. The bride had actually seen this on TikTok. So listen, you can get great advice from DJs on social media.
Yeah,
I think
you can.
I think this is going to be one of those segments,
Well-
you know, but like just one song, start to finish, wedding party and them. And we just set up different cue points so that as soon as I say their name,
jumps it up to
Teddy
the
hits
beat.
that better drop for the
Right.
couple.
Got it.
You know, so it's very possible to do it with one song. I think the best thing that people can do when it comes to introductions is create a separation between the wedding party and them, though, with the song.
Yeah.
I think just like your ceremony, you don't want to have the same, walk up the aisle song as the wedding party did.
Right. The processional. And
Yeah,
march.
processional, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is, just so you know, this is what one that Kevin's talking about. This is a different remix, but this probably would bang too. Let's see.
Yeah, so right here's like, let's bring in our wedding party. Let's introduce Ashley, Lisa, Kelly, Alex. I could probably say it again, then you do the guys again, and then there's like a kind of little drop for them. One more time for the wedding party. Friends and family, at this time, if you can direct your attention up the grand staircase, it is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce right before your very eyes, this is the new Mr. and Mrs. X, Y, and Z.
That's all I got to say.
And this stutter, I love this stutter.
Like this one?
Yeah. But also, I love you, I love you, I love you. That's why it works really well. But
No,
yeah.
that's a good one, dude.
Yeah.
Actually, so another thing that I tell couples all the time is you have to know where you want to come in to the song, because sometimes the best part of the song is on the bridge, which is the vocal, and that's not the drop. The perfect one is I'm Good. That's a perfect
Yes.
example.
Teddy and I actually
By
were
BB
talking
Rexa.
about that one.
Yeah, by BB Rexa, which for the last, let's call it what it is, the last year and a half is like one of the biggest tracks
Yeah.
that people want to walk into. And understandably, I mean, best night of my life, all in that thing. But the problem is that as DJs, it's very hard to talk over those vocals. So you have to find that, or we have to find that gap that makes sense. So that's another, we're responsible for letting you know, like, good song, probably not for
Right,
your entrance.
right.
Why don't we do it for this? What was the one hold on one second. It was a Pitbull track. Hold on one second. The one I walked out to.
Oh, yeah, that's a great question.
I'm All Yours.
Okay.
I'm All Yours by Pitbull and, oh my God, why am I forgetting this right now? Jay Sean. So I made a custom edit of I'm All Yours. Let me see if if I have it. I'm all yours. I don't. So hold on. Let me play it from YouTube. Okay. So this is actually what my wife and I walked into for our wedding.
I'm all yours tonight. Got a feeling that I can't deny. Everything about you gets me high.
Because people are listening to the
rest of my life. I'm all yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time with husband and wife, make some noise for new Mr. and Mrs. Bang. So I made a custom edit where it started with that. I extended the bridge for Aldo to talk over, and then basically when he said our name, the drop came in.
Perfect.
Right? So that was another good one. Jonas Brothers had another one. I think it's Jonas Brothers or One Direction.
Oh. Yeah.
Hold
I
on.
don't think I can't differentiate between them.
I know. It's so bad. Not perfect.
It'll make you feel old, won't it?
I know. And I hate that. It'll come to me in a minute. But is there another one that while I look this up, is there another one that like you're kind of thinking of?
Well, so we just did it this past weekend, and we've done it before. But I love when people do sports related stuff. So like either the Bulls,
the Bulls theme
entrance,
song?
or
Yeah.
like the Fox NFL theme.
Dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
So great. We did
Yeah.
that into. So we played that as I was introducing. It was on a Sunday, which was perfect. And then as soon as I said their names, it was "Congratulations" by Post Malone. So
Awesome.
Now they always say "congratulate," and they just loved it, and everybody ate it up, man. And it's just like, they came up with that idea on their own. That was not me forcing anything on them. I have a lot of, I have like 6 playlists of introduction songs based on the type of music that they want for their. I have like an R&B one, which I want to delete, but I want to give people the option to be as custom as they want.
Yeah, I can see R&B.
Some people truly think a high energy night is them just standing there swaying, just like listening to T-Pain and drinking. And that's cool, but
wrong.
it's just a different vision than what I think most of us have.
Well, because you and I are very, how do I say this? We're very engulfed in the industry where we're like, okay, that's a groove banger, that's that banger. Like we understand the differentials of how people respond. Bride and grooms don't. So I like to paint the picture for our couples as much as possible. I try to get them to envision the moment so they could grasp what I'm trying to tell them. So I'm like, okay, imagine you're about to walk in, you hear this portion, bang, and I play it, and then I say blah 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 blah, and then I hit here, and I do that because now they can be like, that's dope.
Yes.
That's dope.
You got to let them see it.
Right. You have to. Well, it's just like, you sold cars. Did you ever sell a car that they didn't test drive?
Very hard.
Very hard.
Very hard to do
So
that.
it's the same concept. I'll think of that One Direction song in a little bit.
Yeah.
Another one that I want to bring up, I actually, we were talking about this previous weekends. I did this one this was a track that the couple told me about. I was not aware of it. And I was like, I like this. Have you heard For Life by Kygo?
I don't know.
Dude.
But I love Kygo.
Well, another thing that's been working very well are these new remakes of older tracks that are coming back in housey form.
Yes.
So this is Kygo's For Life.
I just feel like I can't get you out of my mind.
Right?
I feel love
So listen.
for the first time. And I know that it's true. Me and you, I could love you for life.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That is a great one. And it's quick.
Dude, I was like, I have to start using this more.
Yeah.
I told them, I hate to break it to you guys, I'm not going to refer this until after your wedding, but I'm going to tell everybody about it.
Yeah.
So Katrina and Dylan, congratulations. Your entrance song is about to go global.
Great
because
job.
that is an awesome first dance one. Any other ones that you got going on in your brain?
Well, so I like when people have a rhyme to the reason of choosing their song. So my Teddi's, oh God, I don't even know. They're like second cousins or something like that. But they asked me to do their wedding, and their last name was Usher. So we did Yeah by Usher. And then I did his brother's wedding, and we did Yeah by Usher for their intro song. And we were talking a little bit about this before, specifically the Scooter Super Bowl edit just has that crazy
Bum, bum.
contrast of the dead air creates energy, which I love. I like to utilize dead air in the appropriate times.
Absolutely.
So when you really what's scarier to a bunch of kids is when there's silence in the room, or parents even. You know, like when you don't hear your kids anymore, you know something's wrong.
Oh yeah, that's wait. It's too quiet.
It's too quiet.
It's too quiet.
Right? So, like, yeah, we use that at certain moments.
That's so true, dude. With my son, it's like he's 1 year old, and I'm like, why don't I hear noise? And I walk into the other room, he's watching TV, I'm like, okay, you're good.
Okay, you're good. You're good. You didn't kill the cat or anything.
Oh,
right?
no, dude. God forbid.
Yeah, but like I do think sometimes people lean a little too far into trying to make something work with their name.
True.
You know?
That's also very true.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it, folks.
Don't overthink it. That's just it.
Yeah,
if you're having trouble picking it, and not to call people out, this was a really long time ago. Their last name was Ritz. And they wanted to do Puttin' on the Ritz as their intro song. And I didn't have the confidence to talk them out of it. And that was my fault.
Wait, the original Puttin' on the Ritz? Could have found you know about swing electro, right?
Yeah. No, so I love E-swing wasn't even like really a thing yet. This was probably like 2017, 2018.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
I don't like that because I feel like it's such a downer. It's such a downer. Like I feel like it's supposed to be this high moment, and you're just like,
yeah,
no, that's not it.
Yeah,
that's
like you don't want to come into a Lana Del Rey song, you know?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorite is Topic A7 and A7S, Breaking Me.
You're breaking me.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because now it starts off like this. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Mr. and Mrs.
I'm just right here dancing around to the rhythm that you play.
You just gotta give something that people can clap to.
Right.
Like that's you almost gotta oversimplify it, which is why I think we all seem to be in like this sort of like house, tech housey, like thumping type stuff.
Well, I like what you said there, that you have to make it super simple for everybody else, because I always tell people that if you think that everybody thinks like you at your wedding, you are 100% wrong.
Yeah.
You are 100% wrong. Whether it's the older guests, whether even it's like your like the couples that you're inviting, not everybody sees it your way, right? Now, if you're lucky enough that you do have a big crowd of friends that think like you, you're very lucky. But trust me when I tell you, it's not always like that. It's very rare. Yeah. So you have to really make it as simple but energetic as possible.
Yeah.
So that's why I do like the tech house like versions, because to me it's just like it's what's working and groovy. Another one is Hot in It. Tiesto and Charlie X, XCX. You know that track, right? This one.
Rocking it, dropping it, shake, 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 no stopping it. I look hot in it. Hot in it, I look hot in it. 2, 3, come on. Rocking it, dropping it, shake, 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 no stopping it. I look hot in it.
So simple. It can be so simple.
Lights strobing, people going like.
Dropping it.
Edge of 17. Remember that track?
Yeah.
Wookie made a remix of.
Oh yeah, I love Wookiees. Well, I love all of his
great,
stuff.
Dude,
I've played this at like a coffee house before. Right. People just like it, And wrecking. So like this is maybe not the Wookiee level, but that's sort of like what the stuff that Teddi plays at the beginning. Just like touch them all. Like play the track that Aunt Karen knows, and even she'll move her hip a little bit to it, but also
her one good hip.
Yeah. She won't be frowning the entire time, But then also like the kid or the bridesmaid that walks in that dances to everything is wilding out to because she just hears that beat.
Yeah.
So it really is like make everybody happy at some point.
But bringing it back to your anticipation point with like the silence thing, imagine like now it's the moment we all been waiting for. Right.
You feel it? Do you feel it in the air?
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for your bride and groom? Because on this beautiful 17th night of September 2024, it gives me great honor to introduce to you for the first time as husband and wife, new Mr. and Mrs.
People are vibrating out of their shoes.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. But what about the classics?
I mean, I like classics, but I'm just...
What about Bring 'Em Out?
Well, that's also one of my... Well, okay. Great thing, but Bring 'Em Out to me is not what I would do for a bride and groom. I would do that for a wedding party. Yeah. So, wedding party introductions, to me, you have more leniency. Like, you have more flexibility to, like, get a little crazy.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing like the train style where it's all the groomsmen and then all the bridesmaids. One that is unspoken about for bridesmaids, Miss Nelly Furtado. Man-Eater. Remember that track?
Yes.
Dude, we actually did this.
Oh, God. Who has a... Is it a Beat Breaker edit?
Well, even the original.
Oh, no, yeah. The original, of course, but...
Just this. For real.
A lot of her
For real.
stuff is stuff.
For real.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great one for the brides. Also, obviously, Girls Around the World. Beyonce, that's a good one, too.
Mm-hmm. Only Girl in the World. Rihanna is a great one.
Yep.
Chicks love hearing
For the
that.
guys, I would do, like, Bring 'Em Out. That's dope.
Yep.
Like, to me, that's hype 'em up.
Yeah. A lot of guys are still, like...
Rock Boys.
I've done a Kanye thing recently, too. Which is crazy that Kanye, through all of his stuff, is staying power. I don't know.
Well, hold on.
It's a testament to his
This
music.
one I've done for guys.
First of all, I want to thank my connect.
Oh, hell yeah.
The most important person with all due
Jay.
respect. Thanks
Well,
to
you
the
probably,
bag.
servicing New York, you probably get Jay a whole lot more.
Yeah, yes and no.
Yeah.
I mean, again, people don't think this advanced unless they're totally into like creating that atmosphere,
Yeah.
so they kind of rely on us to find it. But with wedding parties, you have so much more flexibility. For me, the bride and groom has to be that highlight track. It's got to be the one that builds up that much anticipation, so when the doors open, people go absolutely bonkers. If you don't have that, to me, it's not the one you want. So you don't want to do like such a traditional one, because I feel like it's not unique. It's overplayed.
Mm-hmm.
Like if somebody told me, "Oh, I Got a Feeling" by Black Eyed Peas is my walkout song for the reception for a bride and groom, I'd probably roll my eyes. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's not me.
May as well be celebration.
It's not me.
Yeah.
It's not. And you know what? I'm open to say, like, okay, if I have to fight on that with you, I didn't do a very good job in the sales process of making you understand like what I'm about as a DJ.
Yeah. So if I was the groom and I came to you and I was like, we want to come in to I Got a Feeling by Black Eyed Peas, how do you handle that after, like, we're in the finals meeting, right? How do you approach that?
I would open with a question. I was like, aren't you guys a little worried that's a little played out? Just ask the question.
Yeah. Like, can I even, like, just prod you to just think a little bit deeper? Like, to me, what that says is you went on Google and you looked for the top 10 intro songs and you picked
There
the
was
one.
very
you did.
little effort thought about.
Yes.
Yeah.
May I provide some additional suggestions that may not be so like surfacely just expected?
Yeah.
You know, if you still want to come back to it, if you hate everything I have, that's totally fine.
Well, okay. Number one, unless there's a significant importance of why they're saying so, then I will fold. If you give me a legitimate reason of why that is
Black
the
Eyed
choice,
Peas was our first concert together,
fine.
and
Okay.
that was
All
the
right.
song that we
Say
had our
no
first
more.
kiss to. You know, done.
Say no more.
Random, but done.
Say no more.
Yeah.
But even that, I would say something like, why not do what's the not let's get Black Eyed Peas. Hold on a second.
Dirty Bit.
No. Hold on. Hold on. Why is it escaping me?
You forget their catalog is
Their catalog is so
infinite,
deep, dude. It's so deep.
And then Fergie too.
Don't Stop the Party.
Don't Stop the Party.
This one. Right? Doesn't it give you a little more than...
And it's not I Got a Feeling. That's it. All we're trying to do is be not I Got a Feeling at this point. It's like convince them to something else.
Don't be cliche.
Yes.
Don't just standardize yourself because it works. Don't do that. It's such a major mistake. Like, put some effort into the thing that's going to be the most memorable parts of your night. I can't stress this enough. A reception has the most, outside of your ceremony and you giving your vows and you kissing for the first time, the reception is where all the memories are made.
Yes.
It's not anywhere else. It's not anywhere else. It's your reception.
Yeah.
100% of the time it's your reception.
The reception is the celebration. The ceremony is not celebrating at all. It is the task that you must complete in order to celebrate.
Yeah, and the people who remember that the most are you guys.
Yep.
So it is incredibly important. It is. But if people are going to talk about your wedding, unless you're doing something super significant during the ceremony, that's not what people are talking about.
If they're talking about the ceremony, your DJ sucked.
That's that too.
If they're talking about the food, your DJ sucked.
Dude, did you see what I posted on one of the last clips I did.
I'm wondering if you're talking about the one that I'm thinking about, but I'm excited.
Which one are you thinking about?
Where you said that if your DJ can't rock a party without the bride and groom in the room, they're not a good DJ.
Yeah, and then some guy decided on Twitter to kind of go banter with me. Now, okay. Let me preface this by saying I don't believe that you should do anything without the bride and groom present or understanding of what's about to happen. However, my argument is when a bride and groom keep getting pulled away from their reception, from other vendors or other responsibilities, you cannot keep the guests just sitting there.
Yes.
You cannot just allow background music to be played for 20 to 30 minutes because the bride and groom, like the bride's making a dress change, or they're doing night shots, or if it's springtime, if it's April, okay, and they want to do sunset photos, other known as golden hour, that could really take them away for a while. And that's 20 to 30 minutes. This guy came at me and he was always about setting a vibe, dude. Real DJs know how to do that. Dude, shut up. Shut up. You know, if you didn't know what I'm talking about, then you didn't understand the video. And you know what? Maybe it's out of context. But you know what? Maybe you're an idiot. Could both be true. Yeah. But at the same time, like, you don't need the bride and groom to continue the party. But the bride and groom should be in the room to have the party. If so facto, if you're a bride and groom, don't leave your reception. And if you are, do it at the gaps at the point of the reception where you're not going to necessarily be missed for doing major things like dancing with your guests, celebrating with your guests. Like, it's common sense, people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, am I a dick for saying that?
No, I don't think so at all. Some people just really want to fight on the internet, no matter what.
He wants to fight. He had 2 belts on his shoulders, bro. Dude, I didn't know I was fighting Triple H.
I'm not here to throw fisticuffs,
a fat
man.
Triple H with no hair.
Really, all we're trying to do is help people recognize truly what I call the gravity of the bride and groom, that there is a gravitational pull to them.
Absolutely.
So bride goes off and gets a drink. There's 3 girls that are like, wait, where'd she go? They're like, hey, wait. Like, I guess I'm going to the bar now. And,
absolutely.
And that'll happen so many times, and that's why we don't like the bar in a separate room, because then you get caught out there. Yeah. You know, and then more people get caught out there, and then we're left with the 3 people that are just so blacked out that they don't even notice that the bride and groom are gone. You know?
That's another tip that I tell clients all the time is like, if you guys go to the bar, people are going to follow you.
Yeah.
If you guys are outside, people are going to follow you.
If you're nowhere to be seen, they're going to be looking for you.
Yeah. And it's like, it's also because people made the commitment to be there to celebrate with you. So they want to celebrate with you. It's not off base to say that you are the primary reason why they're there. So why would you take yourself away from that environment? Yeah. Why would you use other things to distract you from celebrating one of the most important days of your life? To me, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like I told my wife, I'm like, we're going to get everything done prior to the reception, because when we're in the reception, that is our time to enjoy ourselves with our family and friends who made a commitment to celebrate us.
Yes. 100%.
That's it. So please don't confuse it by thinking like you can't do other things outside the reception. You can. Just know there are other times to do it. And in my opinion, you should do it at other times.
Yes. There's always a better way to phrase any of this that we're saying. But basically, like, if dancing is important to you, be on the dance floor. Like, that's it. You can't expect people to just do your bidding without you there. Like, because you're a guide. You, at the end of the day, you're one person as the bride, one person as the groom that is at this big party. Your weight individually is so much higher than everybody else's, but you make up the same fraction as any guest, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely, dude. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up. Cool, I was super excited to do this. You brought a lot of great points. And, you know, next time I'm going to get you and Teddi in here.
Yeah.
It'd be great to have you both.
Hell yeah.
I applaud you. I applaud you in everything you're accomplishing so far,
Thank you, man.
The YouTube page I know is growing, and I know you're trying your absolute best, and I encourage you to keep doing that, man. Just, you know, keep chipping away at that iceberg, because it's incredibly rewarding, and I'm glad you're starting to get some recognition there.
Thank you.
Tell people where they could find you, how they could book you.
Yeah.
You know, drop it
well, before I say that, I got to give you your flowers, too, because you were kind of a guiding light with the YouTube stuff. Oh, that's all I'll say, though. I'm not going to toot your horn too much on your own pod.
That's okay. I have my own horn to toot, if you will. Why have a horn if you don't toot it?
Yeah, you know? That's just it, man. If you're not your own number one fan, then you are not doing you're not guiding people
Exactly.
to be a fan of yours.
Yeah.
But I'm DJ HiKevin everywhere. Primarily Instagram and YouTube is the best way to find me. But also, I'm on the SE event group. You can check us out everywhere too. So that's really all I got though, man.
Well, I want to thank Kevin for coming out here. As always, you can find me at officialjondivine and at aliveeventsent. Guys, if you are a bride and groom looking to, find out more about planning, entertainment, I mean, literally I bring on amazing guests to help you plan, learn more, and possibly give you options for your upcoming wedding. Again, dude, thank you for coming out
Thanks
here.
for having me, man.
Super excited to have you and see what's in store for you in the future. Guys, we'll see you in the next episode. Later.